Hello, good morning, and you're welcome to the show. It's 1st of May, so I think it's traditional for me to say happy work. I don't know if it's workers or laborers. Okay, let me just say happy Workers' Day. And we, again, like we say on this program, would like to get into the studio some distinguished Nigerians to come and talk to us about life, about the country, about our hopes for the future, and maybe trying to retrace our steps where we're coming from and mistakes we have made and how to correct them. This morning, again, it's our special privilege to bring onto the show a Nigerian who has been described as one of the most prominent, if not presently prominent, names that is bringing some recognition to African writers. It's my pleasure to welcome simply Chimamanda to our studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
And you're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to leave the suspense at that level because a lot of Nigerians, I'm sure, if you're not careful before the end of this show here, there will be a long queue of people outside of NTA trying to come and get autographed. But let me just quickly say this. I would like to borrow General Babangida's famous, clip. He says, well, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. But let me try and resituate it. So, is there a little bit of you and a little bit of your lover in this new adventure called the Americana?
Yes and no.
So
I thought I would give you an answer that's very much like General Babangida as well. I thought I should give you an answer where I dribble you.
Okay, so
I think all of my work. I think all writers write from experience, but experience doesn't mean lived experience. Experience can mean a story you hear from somebody. It can mean a book you read. It can mean So all of my work is about me, but not really about me, if that makes sense. I don't write about, I try very hard not to write about myself in a particular way, just because my life is boring. There's nothing to write about. So I use other people's stories. So I'm much more interested in your life, for example, than I am in my life.
How very interesting. We will come back to that. Now, let me take this quote from the Americana. He says, the graying hair on the back of his head was swept forward, a comical arrangement to disguise his bald spot like mine. Then you also said somewhere, a dreadlocked white man. So what is this story about the hair? Is this reverse snobbery?
Why would it be reverse snobbery?
No, I'm just curious.
No, of course not. I'm interested in hair. I want to write about hair. I find it interesting, though, because if somebody wrote a book about baseball or football or cricket, as has been done, people just say, oh, it's a novel about cricket, or it's a novel, but so why can't one do something about hair? It's not just about hair. I mean, this is a novel about many things. It's about leaving home. It's about reinventing yourself. It's about what is home. It's about love, but also it's about hair. I'm interested in hair. I'm particularly interested in natural black hair, what I like to call hair that grows up, not down. So the hair that grows on the heads of black people does not grow down, it grows up. But apparently now there exist vast industries that are dedicated to making sure that the hair that grows on the heads of black people looks like it grows down. And I'm very interested in that. I'm interested in what it means, what it says. I want to bring that up and say, let's talk about it. And most of all, I want to change things. Because I think not only am I a writer, I'm also a social engineer. I want to change many things. So I want our natural hair to be an equal option.
I like that particular little phrase, a social engineer. That's new on me. I think I would like to go on with that. Now, there's something here I have here that says, also, I'm just trying to, paraphrase from the Americana. Towards the end of the story, we did never get to see the denouement of what this all should wrapped up into. Like you said, we have all about love, about change, but we didn't quite resolve. Is that going to be an epilogue or something? Or?
It's going to be like Nollywood. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab your copy now. No, I think I'm always wary about tying things up too neatly. I think it ends, in my opinion, it's the story's ended. But has it been overly tied up? No. And I don't really believe. I think I like my novels to give a sense of life continued. That to read it is to be in this place with these characters, and then you leave them and you imagine that their life continues. So I don't like things too tied up too neatly. And also, for me, it's just not believable when you read a book and everything at the end is, perfectly tied up. I don't trust that.
Okay, but it's fiction.
It's fiction, but I can make a case for fiction being more truthful than non-fiction.
Or like Nollywood stories.
I'm a big fan of Nollywood. I have to say that here. I watch Nollywood. I watch Nollywood a lot. However, I think Nollywood has a long way to go. I think that just technically, but also I think one of the problems Nollywood has is the larger problem we have in this country, which is we're in a hurry, right? So I'm watching Nollywood. I'm thinking this could have been done better. It doesn't take very much, And also I worry about the stories that Nollywood tells. As I call myself a very happy feminist. And many of the stories in Nollywood are misogynistic. It's always, the woman who, she stole somebody's husband, the end something terrible happens to her, the woman is conniving, and I just wonder what we're saying about ourselves,
So, if we leave the story writers, how about those who try to leave the stories, the characters who accept this to leave the stories?
Well, they have to make a living. I think it's a bit unfair to blame actors and say, why are you taking this role? They need to eat. It's a larger problem. It's not about the actors. It's about the industry, I think. It's also about... I think that if the audience, if we who watch Nollywood, and I'm one of those people, if we start demanding better... But I have to say, Nollywood is changing.
Gradually.
It is changing for the better. I think technically as well, it's changing. Just basic things like the lighting is better.
Well, okay. Here is a statement from somebody. So what is real? What is fake? How many layers of history and culture does it take to construct a national, a racial, a personal identity? And at what point in the life of a person would you begin to see reflection of all this construct in that person? How does that come into your story? I mean, you've spoken about Nollywood now. Okay, let me leave it first. How does that come into your story? What is real? What is fake? How do we begin to see some national construct in some of these characters that you have in your story?
Okay, I'm wondering whether I should give you the philosophical answer or whether...
We're going to come to that, really.
I think all of my characters... I like to say that all my work is about Nigeria. Nigeria is the country that most annoys me. It's also the country I love the most. And it's what I write about. So even though Americana is set in the US, in the UK, and in Nigeria, it's a Nigerian book. And I think most of my characters, the Nigerian characters, they're negotiating what it means to be Nigerian, where they stand. So you go to the US, for example, and suddenly you become Nigerian in a way that you're not when you're in Nigeria. And that's what happened to me, for example. Actually, I became African in a way that I don't think I would have. So identity, I think, shifts and depends on where you are. Right? I know, for example, my identity constantly shifts. It depends on where I am. I mean, there's the core of me, which is very much Nigerian. So, in many ways, very much female, very much Igbo, very much Nigerian, very much African. But it depends on where
you are at that particular time.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to be looking at philosophicals. I like the way you cast your titles. And that just occurred to me that there's something deeply philosophical about those titles. If you try to string them together, I think I tried to do that. Let me see what I came up with. Purple hibiscus, half of a yellow sun, the thing around your neck, all seems to read like a philosophical reflection. So what is that part of an art on itself, casting the title, or does it come when you're forging the story? Does it come before?
It really depends. The one title that came, I like to say it was revealed to me, and I don't usually speak in this way. I don't really believe in things such as revelations, but Half of a Yellow Sun, the title, I remember it just coming to me, and it felt right. I felt there was a poetry to it, and it was also very significant for the story. The other titles... sometimes you're writing and you write a sentence and you think, that actually would make a good title. Other times it happens at the end of the story and you're thinking, what can I use to try and capture the essence of the story? So it really depends. Americana started at the beginning. I wanted to play on that word because I think it's a very playful, funny word, Americana. You've gone to America now, Americana. So actually the title came before the book came.
For that particular one. Okay.